With profound, humble gratitude and love to all venerated enlightened masters, we bow to the Almighty in soulful gratefulness for gifting us with their holy blessed presence. May all beings be awakened by their divine grace.
Part 1 of 4.
Etc.
Be vegan, make peace, do good deeds, heaven Godspeed.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule
รายการของเรามีให้หลายภาษาโปรดดู suprememastertv.com/schedule
I could see colors. I realized brighter colors meant happiness and good things. Darker colors meant bad events.
Please stay with us to enjoy this illuminating congress.
Vegan side effect. Never felt so healthy.
Today's program will be presented in English with subtitles in Arabic, Walasi, also known as Vietnamese, Chinese, English, French, German, Hindi, Hungarian, Indonesian, Korean, Mongolian, Persian, Portuguese, Russian, Spanish, Thai, and Ukrainian or Uranian. Tina Selim, gentle-hearted viewers. This is a traditional Ethiopian greeting which means, may God give you health in Amharic. Ambemnet, the spiritual Ethiopians are grateful to God for all the bountiful blessings we receive from nature. Rich in history, the East African country of Ethiopia can trace dynamic monarchies that date back to ancient times. The nation's legacy can be seen in UNESCO World Heritage Sites such as Harar Jugul, an Islamic community where the Harari language and the cultural heritage have been preserved for hundreds of years. In Lalibela, near the River Jordan, Christian churches built in the 13th century from single pieces of stone still stand as monuments to the faithful. Ethiopia also abounds in environmental diversity with animal people that include the Gelada baboon, Walia ibex, Ethiopian wolf, and 31 other species of mammals, along with more than 50 species of bird people. These and other flora and the fauna are protected in the country's Simien Mountains National Park as well as the Bale Mountains National Park, two spectacular natural areas. Ethiopian athletes are famously known for superior performance in many fields. Olympic gold medalist Abebe Bikila set world record times in the marathon in two Olympics, 1960 and 1964. Ethiopian sisters Genzebe, Tirunesh, and Ejegeu Dibaba, along with their aunt Deratu Tulu, are all Olympic medalists in long-distance running events with many world records that distinguish their individual accomplishments. Another highlight of Ethiopian culture is its delicious cuisine, which is one of the most vegan-friendly in the world. Several plant-based staples include injera, a bread made from the North African grain teff, along with what stews made of chickpeas and lentils, and fresh vegetable salads. In December 2010, the first ever Middle East Vegetarian Congress was held at the Dubai International Exhibition Center, with the public invited to engage in an interactive exploration of the plant-based lifestyle. Organized by the Middle East Veg Group or MEVEG, supported by the Middle East Natural and Organic Product Expo 2010 and endorsed by the Dubai Health Authority of the United Arab Emirates. The event provided 2 days of seminars, workshops, and video telecasts with experts from around the world, along with rejuvenating veg cuisine. In addition, Supermaster Qinghai Vegan was specially invited to speak via live video link on being a vegan, an environmentally sustainable food choice, followed by a question and answer session with attendees and the launch of the Arabic edition of the international best-selling book, The Birds in My Life, which was already sold out pre-launch. The Birds in My Life was printed by United Printing and Publishing, a subsidiary of Abu Dhabi Media Company or ADMC, owned by the government of Abu Dhabi.
Be veg, go green to save the planet, yo!
We now invite you to join us for part 13 of the conference titled The First Middle East Vegetarian or MEVEG Congress, held in the city of Dubai in the United Arab Emirates on December 6, 2010, with Shivani Adalja, vegetarian, a feng shui and well-being practitioner who shares her experiences regarding seeing colors and auras and how to use the concept of alignment to live a meaningful and balanced life.
Our logical mind sometimes rejects because we've become left brain oriented people, and left brain is logical, linear, 1, 2, 3. And while the right is intuition, music, arts. So sometimes we need a balance between the two. So Shivani will be talking on feng shui. She'll tell you more about the subject herself. But let me just introduce Shivani to you. Shivani is regarded as one of the leading New Age well-being consultants in the Middle East and the Gulf Peninsula. Shivani was born with the ability to see colors, aura, and energy fields, which is wonderful. Her spiritual journey began 15 years ago when she gave up her lucrative job with Cathay Pacific to pursue her spiritual goals. She lived in the Himalayan foothills for 2 years, sharpening her skill and intuition. Her unique abilities and gifts have seen her travel the world and help thousands of people across the globe. Shivani has further developed her expertise by acquiring a master's degree in sociology and is business practitioner of NLP from Australian School of NLP. In addition to these qualifications, she holds a master's practitioner's degree in feng shui and is a certified tarot card reader. Can you read my cards after your presentation? All right. So Shivani also undertakes feng shui consultations in the Middle East and across the globe. Shivani set up the Alignment Institute in Abu Dhabi in 2006 and contributes regularly to a variety of publications and has been interviewed by the international press in many countries. And I'd like to welcome Shivani to take over the center stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to stand down because it's a bit more comfortable. The lights are too harsh over there, and I'm closer to you this way. I'd like to thank Harvey for inviting me for this conference today, and thanks to all of you for showing up on a working day, on a busy afternoon, and beating Dubai traffic to be here. It's a pleasure to talk in front of you today about a topic that's really, really close to my heart because it's changed my life. I don't know if you know much about energies, aura, feng shui. There are a lot of misconceptions in the market. Many magazines and many books have been written on these topics, but I find them sometimes really, really complicated. And during my life, the way I have learned these topics and known about these subjects is what I'm about to present to you today because it's really, really simple. It's not complicated at all. What I want to talk about today is basically 3 main stories. And these 3 stories have basically shaped up my life and my institute in Abu Dhabi. If you understand where I'm coming from and what's happened, you'll be able to relate to the events that followed really well. The very first event or the first story that changed my life was at the age of 3, I realized I could see colors. Now imagine you're 3, you're very young, you're playing with toys, you have neighbors, you have an elder sister, and you start seeing balloons of yellow, balloons of blue. For many years I was devastated. I had a very miserable childhood because I could never tell the dark secret to anybody. I thought something was wrong with me. On a regular basis, I would walk up to my sister or my friends in school and ask them, what do you see out there? And they would look at me strangely and say, well, Shivani, we see a tree. And I would go, no, but I see a yellow tree. And they would look at me and say, this one's a freak, something's wrong with her. For many years, I struggled with the gift. I barely had any friends. I was really bad in studies in school because I constantly thought I needed glasses to be able to read. On my 11th birthday, I confided in my father. And I told him, you know, Dad, something's wrong with me. You've got to take me to an eye doctor because I see colors everywhere. Now, not realizing that I was coming from a family of psychics, my dad was a psychic and so was my grandfather. My father sat me down and said, you know, there's nothing wrong with you. You're blessed, you're gifted, you can see colors. And from then on, there was a switch in my life. I was very happy. I thought I was very special. I could see colors. And over a period of time, by the time I was 15 and 16, I realized brighter colors meant happiness and good things. Darker colors meant bad events. This is something I learned very, very early on. For example, I went to my aunt's house for a Diwali celebration and looked into the bedroom and I saw patches of black over there. Now, I had not seen this aunt in many years. She lived away from Bombay. I had traveled overnight to see her. And I looked at these black patches and in my mind I put 2 plus 2 together. Black is not a happy color. So I asked her, I said, did someone die in this room? And there was a pin drop silence in the middle of Diwali celebrations. She looked at my mom and said, next time don't bring her along with you. Because my grandmother had died in that room 2 years ago. What had happened was, because they were mourning and missing her all the time, the thought, the energy was still in the room, which over a period of time had turned into these black balls. That was the beginning of my journey. I realized, okay, just like people, even places have colors, rooms have colors, gardens have colors, people have aura, but even property, places, offices, everything has colors. By the time I was 18, I moved to Hong Kong, got a very high-paying job. I was very young, very pretty, and that's the second part of the story. I lost my way. Because when you're young and you're beautiful and you have this high-paying job and lots of money, you think you're going to be like that forever. You think that's your life. And over a period of time, by the time I was 25, I lost my ability to see the colors. I was going out to different places. I was taking on more and more stress. I was promoted as a training manager in an international airline at a very, very young age. I was competing to be at the top. And each day, I was going a step down, not realizing that was not the purpose of my life. Until one day, I woke up, I remember on my 25th birthday, and I had actually lost track of time. I did not know what date it was. And my best friend walked up to me and said, "What are you thinking, Shivani?" And I looked at her and I said, "Whose name is that?" And she looked at me and she said, "That's your name." And that's when I realized I was so stressed, I was forgetting things. Spur of the moment, I decided I wanted to change my life. And that's exactly what I did. I quit my job. A lot of people in my family thought there was something wrong with me because you don't get good jobs in India. I was settled in Hong Kong. I was doing really well. And I quit everything. I sold all my possessions. And at the age of 26, I moved to Rishikesh in Himalayas. I had no idea what I was going to do there, how I was going to live, how I was going to earn money. I just went there. Because in India, everybody knows Rishikesh is the city where you go for spiritual learning. And that's what I had learned from my father. I spent about 2 years over there trying to put my life back together piece by piece and realizing I didn't want to work in the corporate world anymore. I didn't want to be teaching management and leadership courses to CEOs and VP. But I did realize something about myself. I did want to teach, but I wanted to teach people how to read aura, how to read colors. So I came up with this grand plan when I was there. How about I start doing these unique workshops where I can teach people how to develop intuition, how to read aura. I didn't get much support from a lot of people around me at that time because they thought, who would come for your training programs? You're blabbering. You don't know what you're talking. You're a trainer. Go back to management. But I stuck my guns. And that's how, in 2006, I set up the first Wellbeing Institute in Abu Dhabi. It was a big breakthrough for someone like me because I had moved to Abu Dhabi with my husband. I thought things would be difficult than Hong Kong. Culture was different. I was in a very new foreign surrounding. But God was great, and I was able to set up the first institute, and I called it the Alignment Institute, because what I'm about to share with you now is that's how I aligned my life. It was extremely simple. It was not as complicated as you see in some of the self-help books, and you spend a lot of money, go on buying these tools and audio cassettes, video cassettes, DVDs, none of that. This is how I was when I was 25. The stress level was so high, and I wasn't sleeping well, I wasn't eating right. And from there, my journey began towards healing myself. How do I get back to leading a normal life, fulfilling life, something different? And that's what I try to do at my institute. We try to use the concept, which is inner and outer alignment, and help people find a more meaningful and balanced lives. So do you think you really need to align your life? Anyone here? Do you think there's something out of alignment? Yeah? Anyone working long hours? Oh yeah. Okay. If you've been through any of the following events, you'll understand what I'm getting at. So has anyone lost a loved one here? Yeah? Breakup in relationships, of course. Financial problems, looking for a better job, always worrying where is the next mortgage payment going to come from. Feeling very lonely and left out, even when you're in a relationship. All of us have been here at some point or time or the other. Now, what we don't realize, all these life-changing, life-altering events, they sort of seep into your brain. Your brain is like a sponge. So over a period of time, it will collect all these memories. So sometimes you could smell a perfume and it will take you back into your grandmother's bedroom. Sometimes you could be passing from a street, smell of a particular dish would remind you of your mom's favorite recipe. So your brain sort of organizes events, emotions, everything. Along with it, it also organizes all your negative emotions and all your scars. Sometimes you think, yeah, you know, I went out with a boyfriend when I was 17. I was only 17, it didn't mean anything to me. Then why do you think of the person when you're 50? So many years have passed. So what the brain does, it actually pulls out certain memories depending on how frequently you think of them, and it stores in your cell, in your DNA. And eventually, it becomes part of you, part of your body. And before you know it, you are living in the present, but you're thinking of your past all the time. I was prettier, I was slimmer, life was better. And that's when the downfall begins, because you're not able to move on, you're not able to flourish. So we keep suppressing, and then we keep more suppressing, and one more relationship, one more setback, one more financial crisis, we keep suppressing. And this is what it leads to. All of us have been through this at some point of time or the other. And that's when I come in, or my institute, or the people who work with me, we try and help other people. Now, how do we help? With inner alignment. How many of you know the theory of chakra system, aura? Practically everyone here. Just to give you a quick brief, around our body, you will find very, very fine energy that can't be seen with naked eye. But there are machines now that can sort of pick up this frequency and show you your aura live. Now, these energies or these colors basically come from 7 energy centers which are located along your spine. And these energy centers, depending on the life decisions that you have made, would be bright or dull, would be fast moving or slow. Once you learn to balance these energy centers, you will realize the quality of your life will improve tremendously. Subtle changes. You will sleep well, you will eat well, you will study well, you will focus well. So how can you align your aura? Simple aura cleansing techniques. Meditations. How many of you meditate here? Wow, big number. Now, meditation doesn't mean sitting on the floor, crossing your legs and closing your eyes, because I know most people can't do that. If you go down to the Sanskrit scriptures and look at the real meaning of meditation, which is dhyana, it means living in the present moment. That's meditation. If you're able to sit on your TV couch just for a fraction of a second and be in that moment, not think about the takeaway delivery that you've ordered, your boyfriend or husband coming home, what's going to happen tomorrow, then you're meditating just for that fraction of a second. NLP and hypnosis. How many of you have tried NLP or hypnosis? Great. NLP is an American technique, relatively new, neuro-linguistic programming, which allows you to sort of reprogram your mind and your language to align with your body. It's very modern, very scientific, and a lot of left brain people can relate to NLP quite well because it's very structured. Also hypnosis, because hypnosis takes you back in time and actually makes you revisit a memory that occurred and changes the emotion for you. And also healing, any kind of healing that you practice, pranic healing, Reiki, just normal energy management can help you to align your aura.
At first, I read Peter Singer's Animal Rights and realized that animals live in the same world as me. Though we share one planet Earth, I started to feel uncomfortable with the thought of a human-centric world. That's how I developed an interest, and now it's been years since I became a vegan. Bo Sun Kim, vegan.
Elegant viewers, we appreciate your presence today for the first Middle East Vegetarian or MEVEG Congress on Words of Wisdom. Please join us tomorrow for part 14 of this inspiring conference. Coming up next is Rising Sea Levels, a Threat to All Life on Earth, part 2 of 2, right after noteworthy news. May everyone soon turn to the benevolent vegan diet for lasting world peace.
Be vegan, make peace, do good deeds, hell not reach.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/WOW.